So far, August has been one of my favorite months for JRPGs this year. I was able to complete 2 JRPGs that were long-awaited ones for me and happened to really enjoy them, and then I also got some time to play a few demos, and while my experience with one of them didn't go entirely to plan, it was nice to feel like I tried everything I'd wanted to in August. So in a month full of games about lost souls and ones I want to play many more times, these are the JRPGs I played in August. If you've been following my channel for a while, you're probably just as surprised as I am that CRYSTAR isn't my game of the month this month. But I had to be honest with myself and admit that my experience with Fire Emblem Three Houses was really special, and it's definitely the game that's wowed me the most this year so far. I'd been excited for Three Houses since last year, but on a bit more of a passive level than other games I'd talked about, so it was only when I picked my house and began to feel the dense world as I played that I really fell in love with it. A large part of why I fell in love with it so much, I think, was the way it divided itself into 2 parts. That first part does a great job at solidifying you as a part of your house and making you feel like their teacher, and the second part really drives it home with the end of the journey, and that kind of structure really gave the right amount of time for character and relationship development that made all of its story moments impactful. And this isn't even mentioning gameplay, as its polished version of Fire Emblem's combat is really good too, and I still love how running around the monastery and doing different activities really puts that personal touch into developing your characters too. I loved it so much that I didn't want to put it down, and I even tried to do a second playthrough, which ended up being unsuccessful. I started a Blue Lines playthrough, but I found myself running up to Claude and other Golden Deer characters, so I don't think I'm quite ready to join another house just yet. I'm sure I'll come back to it sometime though, as I think it's a great game, and I'm definitely interested in checking out its other 3 parts. So while I wait for it to feel a bit less fresh in my mind, having 3 other parts of the story waiting for me certainly isn't a bad thing. As a game I'm obviously quite fond of, CRYSTAR was a close second for JRPG of the month this month, thanks to how happy I am with the way it fulfilled the emotive premise I was looking forward to. It really took advantage of everything in its world to tell the story of Rei trying to save the sister that she killed, with everything from its memoirs of the dead to petting the dog helping to heighten the emotional story. And this, along with the small cast of characters, helped CRYSTAR go beyond its already intriguing premise to become a story that truly hooked me from start to finish, thanks to all the twists and turns along the way. I'd love to come back to it sometime, and there's a lot of good endgame content that promises more character and world development that gives me a few reasons to do so. So until then, I'll be leaving it on my PS4 in the hope that I can soon. But for now, I'm just happy I can look back on such a great experience, especially one like this one that I'd been waiting for so long. In August, there was another game about lost souls called Oninaki, and I'd been interested in it since that February Direct as it looked really beautiful. Because of that, I downloaded its demo last month to give it a try, and unfortunately, it didn't quite go as planned. I found Oninaki's dialogue to be a bit dry, especially when talking about a topic like death, and on top of that, the weapons in battle felt really heavy after playing something with such a snappy system like CRYSTAR, and that with the fact that most battles don't feature any music made everything feel kinda lackluster. It was definitely an upgrade visually for Tokyo RPG Factory's works, and I really liked switching between the Soul world and the real world, as that did look very pretty, but the rest of the experience in the demo didn't really grab me and wasn't something I wanted to pay full price for. While August probably was a quiet and good month to release in theory, I feel like because it released between Fire Emblem Three Houses and CRYSTAR, it might not have been the best time for it, as when I was thinking about if I wanted to pick it up, I thought that I'd rather play with those games again instead, whereas in a less exciting month, I wonder if Oninaki would have kept my interest more. That aside, it did have some points of interest that may make me look at it again at some point, with the demon stores it had in its menu showing some of the best scenes in the game and some of the best story content too, and it may be something I want to look at someday, just not at full price. So I'll be leaving it alone for now, and I hope to maybe pick it up on sale sometime, but I hope those who were looking forward to it and tried it did enjoy it, and I hope Tokyo RPG Factory keeps trying to improve, as I do like how they're experimenting with other styles both visually and gameplay wise, and I'd love to see one of their games do well someday. Dragon Quest XI-S was a demo I hadn't planned to play, but one night, one of my videos was uploading a little slowly and I was getting a bit frustrated. So after starting my second playthrough of 3 Houses was unsuccessful, I thought that Dragon Quest XI-S would be a good combination of something new yet nostalgic to play and take my mind off things while I waited. I played about 15 minutes of the demo to mostly check out some of its new features, and while it didn't have the new retro visuals, it did look pretty good on Switch, even if it was missing some of the visual sharpness I liked on the PS4 version. One thing I was happy to hear was that the Japanese voiceover is enjoyable to listen to, and I think it's a good alternative if you're not a fan of the funky accents in the English dub. I personally don't mind them, but the Japanese version is very similar to what you'd expect from most JRPGs with the Japanese dub, and while I only heard a few characters' voices since it was the start of the game, I thought the performances and visuals seemed like a good fit together. Aside from that, it was also good to finally hear the orchestral version of the soundtrack in-game, which definitely sounds better to the MIDI version in the original. In saying that, I think hearing this soundtrack in this better orchestral form made me realize that some of the tracks from 11 may generally just not be my favorite JRPG music. I remember getting used to the music after playing it a bunch last year and putting its quirkiness down to the MIDI, but coming back to it even with this orchestral version reminded me how cheesy some parts of it can be, especially with its battle theme weirdly reminding me of an old police chase scene for some reason this time. I did hear the battle theme more than other pieces in the demo, as I didn't get far past the tutorial battles, so perhaps that's why it stood out to me in this weird way, and I didn't feel that way about the music and cutscenes at least, so hopefully I feel the same about other pieces when I play. Dragon Quest XI-S is one I likely won't end up picking up this month as it comes out near Code Vein, so I don't know if I'll get to hear more of its pieces soon, but all in all, it was nice to return to it for a little bit despite my feelings about the music. Its good Japanese voice acting and many other new features make it one I'd love to revisit on Switch at some point, since I do have fond memories about my first time with it, so this short trip back into it is a good reminder that I want to get back to this game sometime. September is certainly a jam-packed month full of games to play. The day before I recorded this, Final Fantasy VIII Remaster just came out, along with Catherine Full Body that also has some Persona 5 DLC. On the 20th, Ni no Kuni will come to Switch for the first time, and on the 27th, which is looking like a big day, Code Vein will finally come out alongside Dragon Quest XI-S for Switch. I have interest in all of these, however the 2 games I plan to play are Final Fantasy VIII Remaster, which I've actually already started, and Code Vein, which I've been interested in for a long time. I feel like these 2 releases have good timing with each other, as I've started Final Fantasy VIII now and will probably finish by the time Code Vein is out, so this means there will be no big gaps or overlap in my JRPG time, which is always nice to have. As for Final Fantasy VIII, I have played it before, however I never finished it, so I thought this remaster would be a good opportunity to do so. I don't know if I've told this story before, but I borrowed the game off a friend when I was a kid, got through all of the first disc, then it started jumping and freezing, and I couldn't get to the part where it asks you to put in disc 2, so to finally get through this game, disc free will be great, and I look forward to finally seeing what happens in the story. Then much later this month, I'm looking forward to finally trying Code Vein. Being honest, my hype has been pretty up and down for it all year, as just it's been so long since its initial release date, but regardless, this will be my first Soulsborne style game, and even though I'm sure I'm going to lose a lot, I'm looking forward to it all the same, and I'm looking forward to honing my action battle skills. We're certainly not starved for choice this month, and I look forward to hearing what everyone ends up choosing in a month with a lot of good JRPG time to be had. So with that, I'm looking forward to getting back to Final Fantasy VIII after I finish this video, and in a month full of great looking games, I hope that everyone enjoys what they end up choosing. Thank you for watching this video. Let me know in the comments below what you played in August and what you plan to play this month. You can like and share this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel for more JRPG content like this, and ring that bell to get notifications on whenever I post so you don't miss a thing. You can check out more videos here, and you can find me on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, all at JRPG Jungle. Links to those will be in the description below, along with links to where you can pick up all the games I mentioned in this video. And until next time, thank you, bye!